Kale stood in the center of the small apartment, shirtless, confused, and still holding the towel that was supposed to give him some privacy. The door had just burst open. And now, his alien landlady, Zara, stood frozen in the doorway. Her 4 violet eyes were wide. Her lips curled in shock. Her voice echoed through the room. "Human, why do you have a mini Sci-Fi between your legs?" The words hung in the air like lightning before a storm. Kale blinked. He had no idea what she was talking about. All he knew was that she had barged in while he was drying off from a shower. "Zara," he said slowly, trying to cover himself. "Can you please turn around?" But she didn't move. Her gaze was locked on him, not in a way he had ever experienced before. It was not attraction. It was fear. Confusion. It was as if she had seen a ghost. Or worse, a god. Zara finally spoke again, but this time her voice was quiet. "You carry a sacred worm. A child of the sand. I saw it." Kale dropped the towel in shock. "What are you talking about? That's not a worm. That's just normal. For humans." But Zara didn't understand. She turned and ran down the hall, yelling something in her native tongue. Within minutes, the building was alive with whispers. Neighbors peeked from doors. Some fell to their knees as Kale walked by, clutching a bedsheet around himself. Others shouted warnings, covering their faces. Kale was now the center of something he didn't understand. Only days ago, he had arrived on the alien desert world of Virex 9. He was an engineer from Earth, selected to help build bridges and irrigation tunnels in the outer colonies. The air was hot. The ground always shook slightly. But the people had seemed peaceful. Until now. Zara returned an hour later. Her expression had changed. She no longer looked shocked. She looked serious. Focused. Like a soldier. "You must come with me," she said. Now. Kale followed her silently through the city. The streets were made of crystal dust and metal slabs. The buildings rose like bones from the sand. The Virexi people, tall and violet-skinned, parted as Zara walked past. Some bowed. Others whispered. At the city center, great stone doors opened. Inside, the High Council sat in a circle. Their robes were made of black cloth and golden sand threads. Their faces were masked. Kale stepped forward, unsure of what to do. Zara stood beside him, tall and still. A council elder spoke. "We have seen the signs. The sacred worm has returned. And it lives, with the human." Kale wanted to speak, but the elder raised a hand. "For over 1,000 years, the great Sci-Fi has been our guide. It is the creature of the desert. It brings life. It brings vision. It does not appear unless the world is about to change." Another elder leaned forward. "Your anatomy, human, has been mistaken for something holy. And we are not sure if that is a mistake. Or fate." Kale sighed. He finally raised his voice. "Listen. I think there's been a huge misunderstanding. I am not holy. I'm not dangerous. I'm just here to help build water systems. What you saw is just normal for humans. That's all." The room went quiet. Then, a loud metallic hum filled the air. The translator had stopped working. Now Kale's words were nothing but noise to them. And their silence was even louder. Zara stepped in. "He speaks the truth," she said, her voice steady. "He is confused. But he is brave. He did not hide. He faced the council." The elders murmured. One stood. "Until the truth is found, the human must be protected. And watched. You, Zara, will take him. He will live under your care." Zara's eyes widened. She opened her mouth to protest, but then stopped. The council had decided. Kale looked at her. She didn't meet his gaze. That night, they walked back together, silent under 2 red moons. Kale finally spoke. "Do you really think I'm carrying a sacred worm?" Zara's voice was low. "I don't know what I believe. But I know my people believe in symbols. In omens. And now they see you as one. Kale stopped walking. And what do you see me as? Zara looked at him then. For the first time, she didn't look like a landlady. Or a warrior. She looked like a woman caught between duty and wonder. I see a human, she said. But maybe that is enough. As they reached the door, Kale glanced at the stars. He thought this would be a simple job. A quiet life. But now, he was being called sacred. And he wasn't even sure what tomorrow would bring. The desert wind never slept on Virex 9. It whispered through the streets, stirring the fine silver sand that coated the city like an old memory. Kale sat inside Zara's home, a wide dome carved from heat stone and glass root. He stared at his reflection in a bowl of water. His eyes were tired. His hands trembled slightly. He had done nothing wrong. But the entire planet now looked at him like he was something between a god and a curse. Zara stood near the window, arms crossed. Her posture was calm, but Kale could see the tension in her neck. She had not said much since the council meeting. Finally, she broke the silence. You should not have spoken back to them. Kale looked up. I had to. What else could I do? Let them think I'm the chosen one. She turned to him slowly. Do you not understand what this means? They believe you carry a sign of the sky worm. That is not just a myth to us. It is the center of our way of life. A human claiming it is offensive to many. Kale leaned back. I didn't claim anything. I was just taking a shower. Zara sighed. She walked over and sat across from him. Intent does not matter. Only perception. You have become a symbol now. And symbols are powerful. A sharp knock came at the door. Zara rose immediately and opened it. A tall Virexi male entered, dressed in high desert armor. His eyes, dark and cold, studied Kale like prey. He spoke in Virexi. Zara answered, her voice clipped and short. Kale waited as the conversation grew louder. Then the visitor spat on the floor and stormed out. Kale looked at her. What was that about? Zara wiped the floor with a cloth, then threw it into a bin. That was my brother. He serves on the outer guard. He believes you are a danger to the city. Kale blinked. A danger? Because of a misunderstanding? Zara sat again, this time closer. No. Because of fear. Our people do not know much about humans. We thought you were small, weak, simple. But now they wonder what else you hide. Kale laughed bitterly. I hide nothing. I came here to fix water pumps. I didn't expect to be treated like some holy host. Zara watched him closely. You said your kind are peaceful now. That earth is rebuilding. But the stories we heard spoke of war. Fire. Machines that burned the sky. Kale nodded slowly. Those stories are true. We made mistakes. We hurt ourselves. But not all of us chose war. She lowered her gaze. And now one of you is here. In my home. Carrying a sign that should not exist. Kale's voice softened. What do you believe, Zara? Honestly. She hesitated. Then she stood and walked to a carved box near the wall. She opened it and removed a scroll, old and faded. This is the prophecy of the Sand Seers. It says one day, a creature not born of sand will carry the seed of the sky worm. He will walk with truth, and bring either unity or fire. Kale stood uneasy. Unity or fire. That's comforting. Zara gave a sad smile. My people are looking for meaning. They think they found it in you. He stepped closer. And what do you see when you look at me? She met his eyes. I see someone who does not want power. That is dangerous. Because those who do not want power often gain it. Suddenly, the ground shook. A deep vibration filled the house. Kale stumbled. Zara rushed to the window. Smoke rose in the distance. A building was burning. Kale ran after her. What is happening? Zara's face turned cold. They attacked the Earth Embassy. Someone wants you gone. Kale's heart pounded. Is anyone hurt? Zara didn't answer. She grabbed a blade from her shelf and handed him a metal staff. You stay close. Do not speak unless I tell you. We are going to the ruins. You'll be safer there. They rushed out into the glowing night. The twin moons lit the sky like broken lanterns. As they passed the burning building, Kale saw Virexi guards fighting with masked figures. He wanted to help, but Zara pulled him away. No. You are the target. Not the hero. They slipped into the outer desert, sand biting their skin. For hours, they walked under starlight. Finally, they reached an old cave near the cliffs. It was silent. Safe. Inside, Kale sat on a smooth stone. Zara lit a fire with a single breath of heated air, a skill of her kind. Kale looked at her through the soft light. You could have left me behind. She turned to him, her voice steady. I was a soldier once. I protect what I am given. And I was given you. Kale felt the words settle in his chest. He didn't know if he was a prophet, a problem, or just unlucky. But in that cave, with Zara by his side, he felt something unexpected. He felt like he belonged. The cave was silent, except for the slow crackle of the fire. The flames danced across the stone walls, casting soft light on Zara's face. Her eyes were sharp but tired. She hadn't slept since the attack. Kale sat nearby, watching her. His body was still sore from the long walk, and his head throbbed from confusion. But there was something calming about the cave. Something ancient. Is this where you used to hide as a child? Kale asked, his voice low. Zara shook her head. No. This cave belonged to my great-grandmother. She was a spirit guide. This place is sacred to my family. We come here only when we are lost. Kale looked around. Then we came to the right place. Zara gave a small smile. It lasted only a second. I never thought I would bring a human here. And I never thought I'd need protection from a religion I don't even belong to. Zara stood and walked to the entrance. She watched the stars. The desert stretched far, quiet but restless. They will not stop, she said. Kale joined her. Who are they? The purists. Old believers. They follow the way of the sand. They think you are a false sign. That your presence will poison our world. Kale frowned. I didn't ask for any of this. I know. She turned to him. But it doesn't matter anymore. You are part of it now. Suddenly, a sound came from the rocks. A whistle. Then silence. Zara spun, pulling her blade. Inside. Now. Kale moved fast. Zara followed, crouching near the fire. Her eyes scanned the shadows. Then, the silence broke. A Virexi man stepped into the cave. His armor was scratched. His eyes were wild. He raised a metal dart gun and aimed it at Kale. You should not be here, he growled. You are a lie. You insult our ancestors. Zara moved between them. Leave now. Or die here. The man didn't lower his weapon. He is cursed. He will bring ruin. The worm he carries is not sacred. It is death. Kale stepped forward. I don't carry anything. I'm just human. The man fired. The dart flew through the air. Zara jumped in front of Kale. The dart struck her shoulder. She fell to one knee. Kale grabbed a stone and hurled it. It hit the attacker in the side. He staggered, and Kale charged. They fell to the ground, fists flying. Kale was smaller, weaker, but rage burned inside him. He fought without thinking. His knuckles cracked. Blood sprayed across the cave floor. Zara pulled the dart from her shoulder. She rose, blade in hand, and pressed it to the attacker's throat. Enough, she said. The man froze. He has the fire, he whispered. The fire of the Wanderer. This is only the beginning. Zara knocked him unconscious and tied his hands. Kale sat against the wall, breathing hard. His arm was bleeding. His chest was bruised. Zara dropped beside him. You're hurt. So are you. She looked at the dart wound. It was weak poison. I will heal. Kale winced. You jumped in front of me. Why? Zara hesitated. Her eyes softened. Because I made a promise to protect you. He reached out. She didn't stop him. His hand rested on hers. I'm not your responsibility, Zara. You don't have to do this. Yes, I do. She leaned her head against the stone wall, her voice quiet. I've never protected someone who didn't ask for it. Never cared for someone I barely knew. But with you, it feels different. Cale looked at her. In a good way? In a terrifying way. They sat in silence. The wind outside grew louder, howling through the cracks. Zara closed her eyes. Back in the city, they will hear of this. The blood. The fight. It will only make them believe in you more. Cale shook his head. I don't want to be their symbol. I just want to survive. Zara stood and threw another log on the fire. Then survive. But do it your way. Speak your truth. Show them what a human really is. Cale looked down at his bruised hands. What is that exactly? Zara turned, her voice gentle. Someone who bleeds. But does not break. He met her eyes. And in that moment, something passed between them. Not just trust. Not just respect. Something warmer. Something waiting. Outside, the sandstorm began to rise. But inside, in the heart of the cave, Cale and Zara had found something stronger than fear. They had found each other. The storm outside grew louder. It screamed across the desert like a wounded beast, pushing waves of sand against the cliffs. Inside the cave, Cale and Zara waited in silence. The fire had shrunk to glowing embers. Shadows moved slowly across the stone walls. Cale rested with his back against the cave. His injuries still hurt, but he was alive. That was more than he expected tonight. Zara sat nearby, sharpening her blade with calm hands. She had changed out of her armor, now wearing a loose desert robe. It made her look less like a warrior, more like someone real. Someone close. How long do sandstorms last here? Cale asked. Zara glanced at the entrance. Sometimes a few hours. Sometimes 3 days. The wind chooses. Cale gave a tired smile. Remind me again why I agreed to come to this planet. She raised an eyebrow. You said something about service. About helping a broken world heal. He nodded. I did say that. He looked at her, this time not with confusion, but curiosity. And you? Why did you open your home to a human stranger? Zara paused. Her blade slowed in her hand. I was ordered to. But I also wanted to understand your kind. We grew up hearing stories about humans. Violent. Selfish. Brilliant. Dangerous. I thought I would hate you. Cale leaned forward. And now? She met his gaze. Now I don't know what to think. Cale smiled softly. That's progress. The cave grew quieter again. Only the wind spoke. Cale stood and stretched. His shirt was torn. Zara noticed the scars on his back, small but deep. What are those? She asked. He hesitated. Old mistakes. I fought once. Before I became an engineer. Earth had its wars. I was part of one. Zara stared at him, her voice suddenly softer. You're not what I expected, Cale. You're stronger than you look. And quieter than most men. He turned toward her. And you're not what I expected either. Fierce. But kind. Her eyes narrowed. Don't get soft on me now. Cale chuckled. I'm trying not to. They sat beside each other as the night deepened. Zara reached into her pack and pulled out a small, silver sphere. She pressed her thumb on it, and it opened to reveal glowing red dust. What is that? Cale asked. Memory sand, she said. When placed on the skin, it reveals our ancestors' stories. Can I try? She nodded and handed him a pinch. Cale touched it to his palm. The dust glowed. A soft vision appeared in the air. A Virexi female, tall and proud, stood beside a strange creature. Not a worm. Not a man. But something in between. Zara watched him closely. That is the Sky Wanderer, she whispered. The one from our oldest stories. The one who came from beyond the stars. The one who changed everything. Kale stared at the image. It looks like me. She didn't answer. Is that why they're afraid of me? He asked. Because I fit the story too well? Zara lowered her head. Yes. Some believe you are the return of the Wanderer. Others think you are his opposite. The end. Kale looked at her. And you? She met his gaze. I don't know. But I believe in what I see. And I see a man who bled for me. A man who asks questions. A man who doesn't run. Kale took a breath. And what do you feel? She turned her head. I feel something I should not feel. There was a pause. A deep one. The kind that holds meaning without needing sound. Kale reached out slowly. His fingers brushed hers. She didn't pull away. We're not supposed to be close, he said. I know. It could end badly. I know. And yet. Zara looked at him fully now. The firelight flickered between them. And yet. I don't care. She leaned in. Just enough. Kale closed the distance. Their foreheads touched. Not a kiss. Not yet. But a promise. Outside, the storm screamed louder. But inside the cave, the wind could not reach them. Not here. Not tonight. They had found a moment of peace. And maybe, the beginning of something more. The storm passed by morning. The desert outside the cave was quiet again, but something had changed. Not in the sand. Not in the sky. In Kale. And in Zara. They moved differently now. Spoke less. Watched each other more closely. When they left the cave, they didn't speak for a while. There was nothing to say that wouldn't stir feelings they were both trying to hold back. But silence doesn't keep secrets. Not for long. When they returned to the city, guards were waiting. Black robes. Silver armor. No words. Zara stepped forward. Why are you here? A senior officer replied coldly. By order of the High Council. The human and the warrior are under arrest. For breaking sacred law. Kale frowned. What law? The officer didn't look at him. Law 39. Cross-species intimacy. Forbidden. Punishable by exile. Or death. Kale's heart dropped. Zara didn't flinch, but her jaw tightened. We didn't. Kale began. Zara raised her hand. They don't care. The guards moved in. Shackles clicked into place. Kale and Zara were taken through the streets like prisoners. People watched. Some curious. Some furious. A few even dropped to their knees when Kale passed, still believing he was something sacred. But no one helped. Inside the city's inner fortress, they were thrown into a cold chamber. The walls hummed with hidden machines. The air tasted like dust and judgment. Zara sat against the wall, silent. Kale paced. This is insane. We didn't do anything wrong. Zara looked at him. We did enough. He turned. We didn't even kiss. She gave a faint smile. It doesn't matter. They saw it in our eyes. That was enough for them. Kale sat down beside her. I don't regret it. She turned toward him, surprised. Regret what? Being close to you. Trusting you. Feeling something for you. She was quiet for a long moment. Neither do I. They looked at each other, the silence between them no longer empty. Suddenly, the room vibrated. The floor shook. A low, deep rumble echoed through the chamber. Kale stood. What was that? Zara's eyes widened. No. It cannot be. The wall cracked. Not from explosives. Not from machines. From the outside. A massive shape emerged behind the broken wall. A creature made of shifting scales and ancient bones. Its mouth wide like a tunnel. Its eyes glowing with pale gold. A Shai-Hulud. A real one. Not the giant monsters from myths. But smaller. Younger. Still powerful. It slithered through the wall without anger. It stopped just in front of Kale. Then, slowly, it lowered its head. Zara stood. Her voice barely a whisper. It is bowing. Kale didn't move. What do I do? Nothing. You already did it. It came to you. It chose you. Guards rushed in. Then stopped. They saw the creature. They saw the way it bowed. And they fell to their knees, stunned. The high priest entered moments later, robes glowing with sacred dust. He stared at the Shai-Hulud, then at Kale. This is not possible. Kale stepped forward, still unsure of what he was doing. I didn't come here to be your symbol. I came here to help. To build. But if this is what peace looks like, then I will carry it. The priest hesitated. You are not Virexi. Kale nodded. No. I'm human. And maybe that is exactly why I was chosen. Maybe your gods are asking you to grow. Zara watched him, her chest tight. This was the Kale she had come to know. Not a soldier. Not a prophet. Just a man who stood when others would kneel. A man who told the truth, even when no one wanted to hear it. The high priest finally lowered his head. Release them. The guards obeyed. Chains fell. Kale turned to Zara. She walked to him, standing close. Close enough to hear his breath. Close enough to feel his heartbeat. He reached for her hand. She didn't pull away this time. You still feel something you shouldn't? He asked. She smiled. No. I feel something I must. Outside, the creature slid back into the sand. The crowd watched in silence as Kale and Zara walked forward, side by side. They had broken the law. But they had not broken each other. And from now on, nothing would be the same. The next morning, two suns rose over the sands of Virex 9. For the first time in years, the city of Veruin was silent. Not out of fear. Not out of control. But out of awe. The stories spread like fire. The Shai-Hulud had bowed to the human. The council had lowered their voices. And the forbidden bond between Zara and Kale was no longer a secret. It was now a symbol. Some called it blasphemy. Others called it destiny. But one thing was clear. Kale was no longer just an outsider. He was becoming something more. Kale stood at the edge of the grand platform. It overlooked the city below. Thousands of Virexi had gathered there, waiting to hear him speak. Zara stood beside him, dressed in ceremonial cloth made from sun-blessed silk and crystal fibers. Her blade remained at her side, not as a weapon, but as a memory. You don't have to do this, she said. Kale looked at her, his voice calm. Yes. I do. He stepped forward. The crowd fell silent. Kale raised his hand. I am Kale of Earth, he began. I came here as a builder. An engineer. A helper. I never asked to be called sacred. I never claimed to be holy. I am not. Whispers moved through the crowd. Kale continued. I am a man. I bleed. I fear. I learn. And I love. Zara looked down, her chest rising slowly with each breath. Kale's voice grew stronger. You worship the Shai-Hulud. I respect that. But maybe the creature did not bow because I am powerful. Maybe it bowed because I refused to fight hate with hate. He paused. I did not strike when you feared me. I did not run when you called me cursed. And when you chained me, I still chose to stay. A young Virexi in the front row lowered his head, tears in his eyes. Kale took a step closer to the edge. I am not the wanderer. I am not the destroyer. But I am something new. And you can be too. He turned toward Zara and reached out his hand. She stepped forward, placing her hand in his. We are not the same, Kale said. But we are stronger together than apart. The crowd didn't cheer. They didn't chant. They stood still. Then, slowly, one by one, Virexi began to kneel. Not in worship. In respect. That night, the High Council met in secret. Their chambers were heavy with smoke from sacred herbs. Voices were low, strained with conflict. He must return to Earth, one elder said. He is already part of this world, another replied. He is dangerous. He is proof that we can change. Arguments rose. Accusations followed. But none had a solution. Until the high priest spoke. Let him speak for us, the priest said. Let him carry our voice to Earth. And let the warriors stand beside him. They are already one heart. The chamber fell quiet. And then, they agreed. Kale sat alone on the balcony of Zara's home. The stars above looked different now. Not distant. Not cold. They looked like paths. Zara joined him, 2 cups of heated blossom water in her hands. She gave him one, then sat beside him. They want to send you to Earth, she said. Kale nodded. I know. They want me to go with you. He looked at her. And what do you want? Zara took a breath. I want to stand where you stand. Wherever that may be. Kale reached out and gently touched her cheek. I didn't come here looking for love. And I didn't think I was capable of it. They leaned into each other. This time, no one watched. No one judged. Their lips met. Slow. Honest. Real. A kiss between worlds. A bond that no law could break. In the far sands, deep beneath the surface, something moved. Another shy hewlett stirred, sensing change. Not a threat. But a signal. The world was waking up. And Kale, the human, was now its voice. 2 suns rose over Virex 9. The light touched the edge of the desert first, then rolled across the golden cities, reaching the high towers, the market domes, and finally the balcony where Kale stood. He closed his eyes. Felt the warmth on his face. The same warmth he used to feel back on Earth. But this wasn't Earth. It was home now. Behind him, Zara stepped into the light. Her robe moved with the wind, and her eyes found him instantly. You are quiet this morning, she said. Kale turned and smiled. Just thinking. She joined him, their shoulders brushing. About what? He looked over the city. About everything we've been through. About how I almost ran when they feared me. And how you stood still when everyone else backed away. Zara nodded, her voice low. I was afraid too. Not of you. Of what I felt for you. He took her hand. I was afraid I didn't belong here. But now I believe I do. A soft knock came at the door behind them. A young Virexi messenger entered, holding a scroll sealed in crystal wax. Kale opened it. His eyes scanned the message slowly. The peace agreement has been accepted, he said. Earth will send its first welcome delegation next month. Zara's expression stayed calm, but Kale saw the pride in her eyes. You did it. We did it. He held up the scroll, then let the wind carry it from his hands. It drifted over the balcony and disappeared into the rising light. They didn't need paper to remember what they had done. They had changed 2 worlds. Not with weapons, but with truth. And love. That evening, the people gathered in the desert outside the city. A large open circle had been formed, lit by sunstones. Thousands stood in silence. Kale and Zara walked together to the center. A ceremony unlike any before had been prepared. No gods. No councils. No rules. Just a vow. A vow between 2 hearts. A Virexi elder stepped forward, holding a bowl of starlit water. From the sands you came, and to the sands you give your bond, he said. Speak your truth now, and let the world hear. Zara looked at Kale, her voice steady. I once believed that love was weakness. That duty meant silence. But I was wrong. You made me feel strength and honesty. Fire and trust. I am yours. Wherever we go, I follow. Kale took her hand. I came here alone. Lost. Broken by a world I left behind. But you made me whole. You made me believe in something again. I'm not here to lead. I'm here to walk beside you. They touched foreheads. The crowd remained silent. Then the elder lowered the bowl, and a low hum began to rise from the ground. Kale stepped back, eyes wide. The sand was shifting. A familiar shape emerged. A small Shihulid, the same creature that had bowed to him before, slithered through the crowd and circled them gently. The people gasped. The elder spoke once more. This is no myth. This is no prophecy. This is the future. The creature let out a soft vibration. A sound that echoed like a heartbeat. Then, just as quietly, it sank back into the sand. Kale looked at Zara. Was that a blessing? Zara smiled. No. That was a beginning. Later that night, under the light of 2 moons, Kale and Zara stood alone on the high cliffs. The city lights shimmered below. They said nothing for a long time. Sometimes, silence says more than words ever could. Kale broke it first. Do you ever wonder why this happened? Why me? Zara wrapped her arms around him. No. I only wonder what happens next. He turned to her, eyes soft. Then let's find out. Together. And as they stood there, the stars above them burned brighter. The sand below them lay still. And somewhere deep in the heart of Virex 9, the next Shihulid was already waking. The bond between worlds was real now. Built not on fear, but on something far stronger. Love.